Talkin' Country. You're listening to Talkin' Country with Paul Taylor.
Hi, welcome to my channel, Talking Country, where we'll be chatting to the stars of country music from around the world, whether it's in Nashville, Australia, UK, Ireland. You'll get it here first. If you like us, subscribe and give us the big thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy it.
You were the one for me. Came alive by your side, I idolized your company. You were the song that I would sing. Bursting with pride to be your bride, to wear your ring. Didn't know there was something wrong to you. Called out her name. In 1 second I knew I'd be never the same. I'm nearly breaking. I'm on my knees. This is taking hold of me. This time is over, so don't pretend. I'm in pieces, I'm speechless, but I'll be alright in the end. You were the one who stole my heart. I knew what it meant 100% from the start. Your eyes, you were my prize. The race was won. Bursting with pride to be your child, to raise your son. I didn't know I could feel so angry, so sad, so lost at the same time. I didn't know I could lose you at the turn of a dime. But thought you're mine. I'm nearly breaking. I'm on my knees. This is taking hold of me. This time is over, so don't pretend. I'm in pieces, I am speechless, but I'll be alright in the end. You're mine. You're mine.
called Speechless by Paula O'Reilly, who's on the phone to us as we speak. How you doing, Paula? You well?
I'm really well. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm good. I know we just spoke a little bit offline. My apologies, just say to the audience that she's been very accommodating because I've had to cancel a couple of times through different things. But she's here now, live and direct. Where are you speaking from?
I'm in the sunny southeast in County Wexford in Ireland. It's a beautiful sunny day here today.
Is that where you're from?
No, as you might be able to tell from the accent. I'm originally from North Yorkshire, up near Middlesbrough, and I've lived here in Ireland about 5 years now, married an Irish fella, hence the name, and settled here now in County Wexford.
What a place to settle down in, though. I mean, I love Ireland, but yeah, I thought the accent, but there's a hint of Irish in there, so that actually they're making the magic on you, aren't they? They're working the magic on you. But from Yorkshire to Ireland, wow, wow. So I think is it near Wexford?
Yeah, I'm in County Wexford, but we live very rurally, so we're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
I've been to Wexford. And
lovely.
Yeah, I've been down there when Garth Brooks didn't show up at Ireland.
Right. And you headed down.
Yeah, I was there anyway, so I got myself a car and worked my way down to a few places down there, and the beaches were just like unbelievable. It's just
they are. Yeah, they're spectacular. And what's great as well is that there's not much of a population, so you can go to the beach, and literally we have beaches we go to where it's just us. And that is it. There'll be, maybe you'll spot one or two other people, and that'll be it, which is just beautiful. You don't get it.
They filmed Private Ryan beach scene.
Yeah, just down the road to Curraclaw. Yeah, it's probably our nearest beach.
Private
Ryan, it's beautiful, great big long golden sands.
It's amazing because it's very similar to like the coast here at Southport, near where I live. And Formby and that you can tell millions of years ago it was joined up somehow.
Yeah.
And it's got the coarse grass, the beach. So we've got it now where you are. We've got it all settled. But what a song, though. I mean, that is an amazing song, Speechless. Well, how did that come about?
It's not actually autobiographical. So I know as soon as I played it to my family, they were straight on the phone going, "What's going on?" I was like, "No, don't worry, it's not about me." It's more observational, seeing things happening in other people's lives and just really getting into the feeling of that and wondering how that would feel if it was me. And then the song Speechless came about. I wrote it a couple of years ago now, actually. I was delighted to actually finally get it recorded, and lots of stops and starts last year, as you can imagine, with lockdown. It was pretty actually getting it complete, but I'm absolutely delighted with the result. Dave Arkins, the producer, I think he's done a fantastic job. I really spent a lot of time trying to think about the sound and looking for, and it was quite tricky to articulate that and get that across, because in my what it sounded like in my imagination, but I really managed to achieve that, and just really happy that it sounds just like I wanted it to.
I suppose it's been hard to promote it and to get out there and do it live, isn't it? But have you managed to do anything in between the lockdowns? No, nothing.
Here in Ireland, we're still very much, kind of locked down. We were allowed to move more than 5 kilometres a couple of weeks ago, but we're still, we're still just not allowed out the county yet. We can start going next week outside of the county, but definitely no pubs open, no restaurants, nothing. So the live music scene has been completely decimated. So I've been doing some live streams. Called Four Walls and My Guitar, which is a line from one of my songs, and that's pretty much what the only thing I've been doing, playing to four walls and my guitar, and that's it. But I
think we all have.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how people who during lockdown, no matter, like I say, you could have the massive superstars in Nashville and all around the world, and then you get people who are just sort of maybe just setting out. And the pandemic hit, but then all that creative juices started to flow in lockdown, and you see people bringing out left, right, and centre that's meaningful, and I think I'll write one saying I just got to get out because it's doing me head in, something like that. But it's been amazing. I mean, I've been fortunate where I've had the radio, but I'm a singer myself for about 20 years, and I think the last gig I did was November, I think, when it was due that lockdown dip that we could go out
Lovely. So you managed to do something. That's great.
It was on the last minute, like, and it was one of my colleagues was ill, so I stood in for him. But it was like the tables were set apart, and you could dance, but like round your table. It was quite weird, you know. And it was like, I'm not used to this because I like get audience participation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what stopped me doing it live stream, because I like bouncing off an audience rather than just singing. And I've sort of stayed away from the live streaming, really. So how long have you been doing that?
Not very long, literally about a month now. I'm in a songwriting group with some friends here in County Oxford, which has been a real lifeline for me, actually. And we would do like a closed online gig, you know, maybe every 6 weeks or something. We'd say each other a challenge of a song to write, and then we'd all get together and perform in front of each other. Maybe be, you know, 20 of us or something. I'll do a couple of songs each. And yeah, I think at first I did find it a little bit odd. And we would normally meet up in a venue, you know, and we'd do it live, and you'd have the crack, and it'd be, you know, really good fun. And then doing it online at first, I thought, oh, this is really tough. You know, I found it really difficult not getting that immediate kind of response from the audience and feeling a little bit put on the spot. But I think it just warmed me up a bit to get the kind of get up and go to actually do it myself and do a few just, you know, pure performances of myself. And they're not very long, maybe 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it, you know, I think any longer than that with one person and her guitar is a little bit too much. But I have actually been enjoying it and reading the comments from people coming through. It's been
brilliant.
Been really good.
I get this vision now when you're saying about the crack of everybody sat round and around about 11 o'clock, some of the lyrics going a bit skew with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of Beatles in the 60s-esque, you know, the late 60s. Yeah. And then you sit back and you go, oh, what was that about? You know, it's like my eldest daughter. I've banned her from, you know, the like Asda's and supermarkets that not a lot of them do it now, but like open 24 hours when they were. And she'd go out with a boyfriend and get drunk and then go shopping. Right.
Yeah,
and then wake up with like 6-foot ladders and an inflatable dinghy. And going, what's all that about? You know. But how did it all start for you then? How did the musical career like start?
Well, I've been doing music all my life, really. I come from a musical family, and particularly my uncle Paul Tilley, a professional musician, and I did my first kind of paid gig when I was about 14, and I thought it was great. I got 20 quid. Wow. It was a barbecue at an old people's home, and sang a bit of Blanket on the Ground and a few good country classics. Thought it was great with my two sisters. Actually, the three of us got the guitar out and we got 20 quid each, which in those days, you know, quite a lot of money for a few young girls. So I started in band. I put a band together at school and I started gigging. I'd always written songs from being very, very young. Again, luckily, my uncle Paul is a brilliant songwriter, so he was a big influence. But also my headmaster was a really strong songwriter as well. And we would often do a lot of performances in school. So that kind of set me off. And then I became a full-time professional musician. And I had, you know, great start early on. It wasn't really country music in those days. It was more just general pop. And I worked with quite a few really good producers and managers. For a while there, I was managed by a group of people, including Jimmy Brown, who's the drummer for UB40. Yep. And they were fantastic. They had a massive studio in Birmingham. And as a, you know, kind of 17, 18-year-old girl, it was really exciting. You know, I thought, yeah, I'm going to hit the big time. It's going to be a great big music career. And I did record some great tracks, but it was quite tough to really make it big. And then I worked with a few other managers, producers, started to move into the country music. And was pushing it for years. I released an album in 2003 called Far Away, which you can now buy online. And it did, you know, very reasonably well, but not nothing big. And then I had my family. So I've got two daughters, Molly and Maisie. They're 11 and 13 now. So when they came along, when I was, pregnant with Molly, that was probably my last proper gig. So I'd done, kind of full-time musician for many years, and then just kind of put it on the back burner and had my family, worked full-time. I work in a recruitment business, and just kind of did it as a hobby, really, and hadn't really done a professional gig for a long time. And then lockdown came and suddenly had more time. I used to commute up to Dublin, which, if you know Wexford to Dublin, is quite a long way. So instead of hours every day commuting, I had the extra time just to sit and get back into the songwriting. So that has been, a real godsend for me, to be honest, because it's meant I can just sit down, write the songs, get them finished, and think, right, I really need to get out and record this now. Although for all the difficulty coronavirus has kind of given us, I think it definitely has done a lot of positivity as well. Certainly for me, I don't think this album would be on, it's not made yet, but on the way to being made if it hadn't been for the lockdown. So I'm just really excited now to try and get it out there. It's been received really well by the radio so far. So I'm really excited for the release date on the 15th of May.
Sit back and batten the hatches, isn't it, when it's all kicking off? It's quite interesting when you were saying where you're from. I mean, the Northeast in itself is a good hotbed for country music. I mean, I've toured the Northeast many times. I mean, probably smaller venues in certain respects, but there were, if I remember, Northallerton, just on the cusp. Yeah, it's
very close. I'm from Stokesley, so Northallerton's just down there.
So Northallerton, Sunday nights, Northallerton Working Men's Club.
Lovely.
Blackhall Colliery.
All right,
towards the Hartlepool kind of area. And then there was, I can never pronounce this, it's going more in towards Newcastle. Is it Produe? Do you know that one?
I'm not sure.
It's more, I can never pronounce it.
When I was kind of 18, 19, I used to do all the workmen's clubs in the Northeast. And it was a real eye-opener, but really good grounding in terms of learning your...
If they didn't like you, they'll let you know.
Yeah. And then you'd have, the proper workmen's clubs, there'd be no women. You'd have the women's bar and the men's bar. It was very strange.
It's quite interesting.
Really good.
There's a great big club and a huge following at Jarrow.
Yeah.
Again, that's going up further north.
Yeah, I played Jarrow a few times,
Yeah, because even in my day jobs that I've had over the years, I used to do a lot of work in the Northeast and stay at the Metropole, the Marriott at the Metropole, and be there for like a week. And even going all the way up to Northumberland, and... Yeah,
it's beautiful up there.
All the way down there, there's a great hive of activity regarding country music and line dancing and things like that. But there's a great club, and I'm not going to mention on air because it's not it's more deep in Yorkshire.
Right.
And this is I always remember this thing. First time I played there, it must be 15 years ago. And they said, we have a couple of games of bingo, because they love the bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the singing, or the singers and the groups, are the side show of the bingo, really.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't speak when the bingo's on, can
this particular club said, we have a few games of bingo before you come on. When to go on stage, I thought they've had 3 games. Like that, no, we've got another few games. I went, okay. And then I went, no, we've got another few games. I went, that's not a few. And then when you come on, half the audience go into the bar. And I think, I haven't even sang a note yet, and a bombed. And it's one of those love-hate relationships, and they're just a great, but now that I think, was it Red Nose Day was on that particular night on a Friday, and we're all going out, and I come on to do my second spot, and I went, you're doing a sponsored walk, put me down for a £5, and I was like, but I loved it, and they're all going, if you're too loud, we'll tell you, and it's like, clubland, isn't it, really? It's just,
I learned pretty quick, as soon as the bingo finished, you had to strike that first note, because otherwise, if you didn't grab the attention, they'd be off in the bar, and
the gun.
Into a great big hall with like 3 people in it.
But
to work in the holiday camps as well. I used to work with one called Primrose Valley in Filey.
Yep.
You've been there. I used to work in Windsor's, like the big bar, and it was fantastic. But yeah, the bingo would be on first thing, and that would I'd walk through to get to the dressing room, but I knew I had to sneak, and I couldn't make it. If I made a noise, you'd have like 1,000 people glaring at you.
That is a tough gig. But I've been with my family all the way down there to Robin Hood's Bay and whatever. Beautiful, down there, and it's a stunning place. In fact, my daughter gets married in a couple of months, and because of lockdown, they can't go all fancy, but they've actually got a lovely hotel in Whitby.
Lovely.
So Whitby, you know, fish and chips.
Yeah.
You know, champagne and fish and chips. I said I'll have to write a song. Yeah. But it's great when you mentioned. I'll just mention this one, and it's not in Yorkshire. It was actually in Wales, Aberystwyth. I got a call from my agent, one of my agents who's no longer with us, sadly. But he said to me, Paul, do you know any Spanish? I went, not really. He said, any Spanish songs? I said, well, Guataramera and La Bamba and all that. He said, right, get yourself down for an hour at this place in Aberystwyth, which is like 2.5, 3 hour drive. I went, right, okay. Yeah. He said, you're there before the main act in the evening. It's a Meatloaf tribute, blah, blah, blah. I said, right, okay. So I gets there, and they're upselling caravans, you know, so it's the caravan people promoting. So I'm going, bala, bam, bam, bam. And I thought, how do I make this fun? I said, right, instead of musical chairs, the women have to jump onto the, you know, you move around and dance. When I stop, the woman like jumps on the back of a man. And there were some big women and some small guys. Yeah. And it was so funny. Dear. And the legs had crumble. And anyway, at the end, the guy behind the bar said, hey, Paul, there's the manager's on the phone who owns all these themes, like on that side of Wales. And I said, hi. He said, oh, are you working tonight? And this was about 8 o'clock now. I said, no, I've just finished. I've done that for you. I'm on my way back. Can you get yourself down to New Quay in Wales? It's about an hour and a half. I said, why? He said, the band's turned up in New Quay in Cornwall.
Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine all that way down to Cornwall and you're going,
they're in the wrong place. Oh, dear.
I keep saying all as artists, we should get together and write, you know, our stories and have this.
Oh, definitely have some, lots of stories. When I did the holiday camps, and then I did more the band circuit in London, Buckinghamshire, and I do all the Park Lane hotels. So it would be weddings, bar mitzvahs, you know, all of that in all the Dorchester and the Grosvenor House Hotel, and I'd be there, you know, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. The stories from there. It was all great fun. We were with a real big band, which was an absolute pleasure. You know, 15-piece band, and we'd do the jazz standards right the way through to the modern pop music. And obviously, I'd try and be doing a bit more of the Shania Twain and the and those tracks. But it was a bit of a mixture. But it was really, really great fun and just a real pleasure, because you don't get that too often these days. A really nice big band to play with on a regular basis, so that was just such a privilege.
Wow, that's amazing. And it, like, from the sound of it now, from the story that you just said about your career, you've got a great grounding now going forward, haven't you? You've paid your dues. I think we can inverted commas that one. You've paid your dues. You've done the things. You've gone from rags to riches.
Yes.
And but I mean, in Ireland though now, not just now, but for many, many decades and hundreds of years, has been synonymous with good music, and more so with country as well. I know people who've actually left here and gone living in Ireland and just love the country music. And you know, it's, I mean, I've been
country
fortunate.
Music is it's very big here, country music scene, the country and Irish scene as well, and it's, you know, it's like a big family as well. Very incestuous, and you know, lots of musicians and youngsters coming up through the ranks as well, which is fantastic. And actually, Dave Arkins, who produced my album, he is part of the band for Daniel O'Donnell, who is, you know, obviously worldwide massive, but you know, a real treasured gem here in Ireland. So Dave plays guitar in his band. He's also a producer. So some of the musicians, you know, who feature on the track and will on the album will be from, you know, Daniel O'Donnell's band and a few other kind of big country and Irish acts here. Wow. So that privilege to work with those kind of people. It's fantastic.
I know we've interviewed like Sir Derek Ryan and Robert Mazel. Interviewed Robert a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, he's a real character. Yeah.
He's started to make garden furniture. He's got this garden furniture business during lockdown. And he said 50% of his sales are fans and they want the autograph. You know, so I said, well, when lockdown eases and you can do your full concert, why don't you do an hour of making garden furniture on stage while you're singing, and then you can sell it as merch? And he went, hey, that's a good idea. I said, there you go. You know, some 3B2s and
absolutely, yeah. But that's lockdown. It's amazing the creativity that you see and people diversifying and. Not just musicians, but people in all kinds of industries, you know, where they've just made a big change. I've got friends who do for festivals, they do like the great big hog roasts, and overnight they're in, you know, they've got a family business. The whole business was just, that's it. Where's the money going to come from? And what they started to do was build the actual, you know, the hog roasts or smaller versions of it for people to buy. And they're absolutely, you know, the orders are coming out their ears. They've got so much work on to build these, you know, or food facilities for pubs or just for people's back gardens. And you think, yeah, actually, you know, people do have that, you know, for some people it's been devastating, and you know, I don't want to take away from that, but for some people it's really just made them stop and look and think, right, how, you know, how can I make this work and what else can I do? And you know, and I've got friends who've done, you know, been in, like a friend in recruitment, been in recruitment for years, never, like, you know, always thought, is this really what I want to do? And then announced yesterday she's moving into a counselling career. And I know that's something she's always wanted to do. And it's only been during lockdown, she went down to a 3-day week, suddenly thought, oh, I've got the time now, I'm going to get my qualifications, I'm going to knuckle down and do this and launch into something I've always wanted to do, you know. So I'm seeing loads of really nice examples like that lockdown's really made people stop and think and really go for something, you know, that they haven't had time to before.
With the recruitment, what sector do you do the recruitment for? I
do life sciences sector, so it's pharmaceutical, biopharmaceutical, medical device. Thankfully, because for me it's been really busy. It's been mad this year, and we really thought it wasn't going to be. You know, we've kind of braced ourselves for a tough year, and it has been tough. Particularly because nobody really wants to move. If someone's got a job, they don't really want to move a job during a global pandemic, as going on without thinking about all of that. But the clients I'm working with, I recruit like clinical trials professionals, and you know, the manufacturing of the COVID vaccines or the COVID treatments, etc. So it's very busy, but it's very interesting, and it's good to know that you kind of helping recruit people who are then going to go on and help, you know, find a solution or a cure or help to cure it. So that's been great, and it's an interesting job. I'm talking to people all the time. You know, I recruit globally, so I'm speaking with people in all different countries, and it's great. It's really interesting, but I would much rather be doing the music full time.
Do you see yourself doing the music? Do you see?
I would love to. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to push the album and try and get to that place where I used to be, where I was a full-time musician, you know. But it is tough. I've seen so many friends who are still full-time musicians, and their whole livelihood's been taken away from them in the last year, and it's been very, very difficult. So in a lot of ways, I'm so grateful that I did have a job and have that regular income coming in. But then again, you kind of think, oh, it would be great to go back to being the full-time musician and doing that, you know, as, you know, fully as my career. So that would be the aim. But I don't know, to go out and buy the song.
It's amazing. I mean, I've been fortunate when I've worked all my career, you know, during the singing and long before then. I was always in sales, but for a long time, when I finished school, I worked at SmithKline Beecham's for 17 years.
Oh, lovely. Oh, really? Wow.
Obviously, the name's all been swallowed up, and Glaxo, Wellcome, and so AstraZeneca was involved at some point. You know, some of my friends moved down south, but I decided not to when they shut. I mean, it originated here in St. Helens, where I live. Beecham's, and Sir Thomas Beecham was in the family, and they sold it off for £1, the factory, to the local college. And it's still there to this day, you know. But I've got so many fond memories, and like 17 years working in that kind of environment. And so, I understand certain amounts of pharmaceutical kind of things, you know. But no, I took early retirement, and then I got a bit fed up. Last year, I ended up delivering for Argos for a month, and then I got ahead. I was in insurance for many, many years, and this recruiter got in touch with me and sort of tempted me to come out of early retirement and go for this company. It was all right for about 2 months, and then the MD, it wasn't what it said on the tin. Then, you know, with the COVID lockdown as well, and I'd volunteered to go part-time as well. And long story, but basically I just said, leave it with you, I'm away, you know. And I just sort of took early retirement again, and just chomping at the bit now to try and get out there singing. So hopefully it's not too soon. But good casting your eye then, for certainly for the next 12 months. You're hoping to get the album all finished, sorted out, done?
Yeah, we've done three tracks are finished, and the next few are well on the way. So really excited about getting them all finished. I'm going to do one track with my daughter Molly. She's 13.
Oh, wow.
Molly and Maisie, my two daughters, they actually had locally a hit single last Christmas. It was a song that I wrote called White Wexford Christmas, and it was a really big hit. It was on all the radio stations and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were fantastic. They've got lovely voices, you know, and it was a really lovely, feel good Christmas song. So that was really exciting last Christmas. And so Molly's going to do one of the songs on the album with me, and then we're just trying to figure out, you know, if Maisie's going to do one or not. You know, when they're that age,
I can see a family band.
I want to go down that route.
I can see a family band coming. You used to have the Partridge Family now, but no, you've got the O'Reilly family. The O'Reillys. The next cause, you know. But it's been brilliant talking to you, and I wish you all the very, very best in your future. And please keep in touch, and any new music, then please send it over, and we'll always play it here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be bombarding you throughout the new song that comes out.
And hopefully, like say, when the lockdown's completely finished and you can do some touring and stuff, you come over to the UK and we'll hook up and we'll have a chat face to face.
Do a song together.
I might not do it. I need to practice. My fingers have all gone soft. You know, we're not.
Really? Right. You're going to build them back up.
I haven't picked my guitar up since November, and I'm like, oh dear, I need to. It's all gone soft, and they've always been hard with the grooving, haven't they? With the strings.
Yeah, no man, and they're always rough. Mine.
And I always test it by. I don't know if you've ever done it. Probably not as mad as me, but when you get a radiator and you put your fingers on the radiator, if you put your normal fingers on a red hot radiator, you go, ow. When you've been playing,
right, I haven't done that before. It takes a while to feel the pain.
Maybe it's just a man thing that we think. Does that hurt?
Yeah.
Does that hurt? If I put my hand in the fire, does that hurt? You know. But you put it on there, and it takes longer for the heat to seep through because you've got all the. You know.
I will try that experiment.
No. Listen, if you get 3rd-degree burns, no win, no fee.
Never play the guitar again. It'll be all your.
And I'll go under a different pseudonym then. I'll just no win, no fee. There's a disclaimer at the bottom of the screen. But enjoy the rest of your day, and obviously the rest of the year. Stay safe and well, and I look forward to hearing more songs from you. And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure talking to you, Paul. Thank you so much.
All the very best.
Bye-bye.